Hello and welcome to Mumblecast, the oddly structured, poorly researched podcast extravaganza. My name is Liam, and as always, I'm here with my co-host, Kayla.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How was your week been?
It's been pretty good. Got back from snowboarding, got back from snowboarding 2 weeks ago, didn't do anything much this week.
Well, technically, we did get back from snowboarding this week.
Yeah.
Because we're recording, obviously, prior to it going out.
Yeah.
But it was up last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's the same as me. We got back Monday night, didn't we? Mm-hmm. And we haven't really done anything else.
No.
Just worked out.
Yeah.
And worked.
That's basically it.
You done any PT this week?
Mm-hmm.
Going well?
Yeah.
It's getting
really
fitter?
well. I think so.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, excellent. I've not done anything. Nothing different or unusual or anything. Just the same old, which has been quite good. Mm-hmm. All right. I mean, that's been pretty quick. It's intro, but I guess, hey. What are we doing today?
We're going to talk about our favorite fictional detectives.
Nice. That's unusual.
Yeah.
When did you speak about this before? We did mention something about fictional detectives.
Yeah, we mentioned something about researching like the famous ones, but instead of just the famous ones, we're going to do all of them. I think it was something about a book.
Really? We were speaking about books? Well, you met me.
Well, no, because you knew who this person was and I didn't.
Sherlock Holmes.
No.
Poirot.
Who is that?
Miss Marple. I don't know. These are all detectives.
Who's Miss Marple?
Miss Marple is, I think, Agatha Christie, maybe?
That's the one. And I didn't know who it was.
I think Miss Marple is that. I don't actually know, but I think so.
Okay.
We can maybe check. But anyway. All right, so we're going to talk about, we're going to what, do 3, 4 of our own?
Let's do 3.
And then we'll maybe, if we have time, talk about some of the most wild famous.
Yeah.
But everyone knows the most wild famous. I mentioned them already.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. Oh no, Poirot is Agatha Christie. Maybe Miss Marple, Anna Poirot, Agatha Christie. Anyway, I'll figure it out. In that case, let's get ready to mumble. Let's find out real quick. I think they both are. Because they're both really famous, right?
I didn't know them.
You may not know Miss Marple, but Agatha Christie.
I knew
Miss
Agatha
Marple,
Christie
Miss Marple is a small-town old spinster who solves a number of crimes using common sense. Agatha Christie. Mm-hmm. And then Poirot, can't remember his full name actually.
Hercule Poirot.
Yeah.
I definitely would not have said his name like that.
No, not at all. I think he's I don't know if he's actually, I think he's just a private investigator, and he's also Agatha Christie. Yeah. So Agatha Christie is a British author who wrote a lot of detective novels, and very sort of they're thought of as tropes and cliche things nowadays. Mm-hmm. But she wrote a lot of them, or at least that's what she's most famous for. She only wrote over a short period of time. I don't think she wrote that much. In the first couple of books, she wrote under her husband's name because it was at a time where women were kind of not really looked upon as being good writers or having that as a career, which is quite interesting. But yeah, all right. So do you want to go turnabout? You go, I go, you go, I go?
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, we need to determine what is going to be considered a detective.
Okay.
Do they have to, does a job have to be detecting?
Detecting in some way. Like, it doesn't have to be they work for a police force. They could do it themselves, like, on the side or whatever. So
they can be a PI, or they can just be an amateur detective, or they can be for part of the police department.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's going to cover most of them. So they don't have to have detective in their name.
Do we think that they have to, like, if they work alongside the police detectives, do they count?
Yeah, because they're still detecting.
Okay.
They're still finding out information which hasn't been discovered for a crime or whatever reason.
Okay.
That's what we'll go on to, right?
Yeah.
Is that what detective means?
Sure.
I don't know.
Let's look up the definition of detective.
You look up that. My dad was a detective for a while, so he was in the police and he was detective slaving for a while, and he finished, I think his last role was DI slaving, which is detective inspector slaving. Cool. So he was always a detective, and I remember when he was a kid, when we were kids, not when he was a kid, he used to ask us silly questions, like, and it sounds so obvious now, but it's this story. So he came to us and I was asking us like how you'd solve crimes or something. He was just, and we were little kids, and my little brother, or my twin brother, and we must have been like 4 or 5 or something. He essentially described going undercover to my dad. And it was really, because we were like, it's amazing what a great, basically, dress up as a bad guy, and then when they're committing a crime, catch them type thing. And it's very childish. You think about it. You don't know what being undercover was. And he came up with it. And I was really jealous because my dad gave him £1. $1 or whatever as a prize for coming up with it. It was very smart. Yeah, anyway.
That's cool.
Yeah, so he was that for a long time. Not a great job for. It's not as fancy as it is in the fiction or in the movies. I'm sure. Yeah. He used to tell us a lot about different crimes and things he was working on. Like when we were older and when it was like 10 years past type thing. He'd tell me as it goes about a lot of it's basic stuff. A lot of it's bad stuff, as you'd expect. That's where the police involved. But it was interesting.
It's very interesting.
He always kept us going out. He always told us not to go into the police, which is a little bit weird. You think he might be like, yeah, it's an honourable job, or whatever, but he was always like, nah, don't join the police.
Really?
It's quite a it's very selective type job, and it's like you always end up with a lot of police officers go down a similar route, you know, and it's because of the way the job's tailored, they end up having to kind of the same path as all other police officers. Good or bad, I don't know. I would have liked it. Same way I would have liked joining the military because I'm quite a regimented person. I quite like that sort of routine, but that's all good. I like what I'm doing now, and it pays better, so that's good.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so you want to go first? Now, I want this to be your third favourite, not your favourite.
Okay, we'll go third favorite
if you can
first.
Go favourites. All right, who's your first?
Third favorite.
For a third favourite.
Third favorite, I'm going to go Inspector Gadget.
Okay. Haha, knew it was going to be that. Now, is he an inspector or is he a detective?
He's both.
Inspector's usually one level up, I think.
Well,
typically. As if you're going by like a rank.
Well, we're going to call him a detective because he has a magnifying glass.
I do like Inspector Gadget.
He is a cyborg police inspector detective guy.
Cyborg police inspector detective guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Named Inspector Gadget because he has all these gadgets.
And what is he in? Was he a comic book or was he a TV show? Was he a cartoon? For people who don't know.
I think he was all of those, yeah. I think that he definitely had TV shows. He definitely was in movies.
He definitely had a live action, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Because I remember seeing that. I don't think I liked it very much.
It wasn't very good.
But I remember seeing it.
There's video games with him. There's a lot of different ones, but...
Can you hum me the theme song? I think you missed out a couple of bars there, but...
Did I?
Yeah, but it's all good.
No.
Yeah, so I think it was about like the early 80s or something, the first animated series. Okay. Like 83 to, I don't know, mid 80s, and then it came out about... I remember watching it as a kid. And it was...
Yeah, me too.
I don't know if it was a UK thing, was it a US thing?
I know Disney did the movie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know where it came from, if it was from UK or US, but I remember he had the bad guy claw, and you only saw him like a cat in a metal arm. I don't think you actually saw the guy's face, or maybe you did. I don't know.
I don't think so.
So that was like his main bad guy, and he was renowned for being like an idiot. Wasn't he? He was renowned for his assistant. Who was the assistant that helped him? Did you not have an assistant that was like his main, who basically completed all the crimes? Oh yeah, Penny. So his niece, Penny, and her dog, they completed all the crimes really, and Inspector Gadget was just a sort of dumb guy who just fell into success. Yeah.
So she used a lot of like the devices and everything to stop the bad guys and like solve the crimes.
So almost she was a detective and he just had the rank, although he was an adult. That made it easier. Yeah, he was a dim-witted cyborg police inspector.
Yeah, and then she had a dog too.
Yeah.
Named Brain.
Brain, yes, of course. And they were, the responsible ones for thwarting MAD, which was the crime organisation. Mm-hmm. Now, I remember seeing a lot of the initial program. Did you ever watch any of the spin-off programs?
I don't think so.
There was one called Gadget Boy that I watched a lot. And it had his theme song like Gadget Boy and Heather, because Heather was his psychic. Gadget Boy and Heather, so much better than the rest. I remember watching that a lot. I think I probably watched that more than Inspector Gadget itself.
I think I watched Inspector Gadget more.
I think
didn't they say like Go-Go Gadget?
Yeah, he'd be like Go-Go Gadget arms or Go-Go Gadget rotator hat or something.
Or like the big legs.
Yeah.
Like the big car thing.
So I remember he had like a wee helicopter hat. He had expandable legs and arms. What else did he have? Can you think of any others? I know it was like everything, whatever he wanted, basically he had.
Yeah, I don't remember all the other ones.
So I think there's a new series out now, and it's probably, I think it's more like, it's not animations the same way. It's slightly more CGI type stuff. But, and as we said, the movie came out. There's been quite a few films actually. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of them. I'm assuming only one of them actually went to movies, but maybe more. I'm not sure.
Inspector Gadget, like the first one.
Or maybe Inspector Gadget 2 as well. I don't know, but
I don't remember watching that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of do.
I can't remember watching them too.
I remember the picture of it.
Of what, the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked Inspector Gadget. I think it's definitely something I watch quite a lot. I never played any computer games. There's quite a few of them.
I think I had one of them. I think.
Yeah? Why? So what made you like him? What was good about him?
I don't know. He was funny. That was probably my favorite part. He
Oh.
was funny, and he had like really cool toys that he played around with.
How would you rate his inspecting ability or his detective abilities?
Very low.
Very low.
Yeah. He wasn't a very good detective. He was just a fun one to like laugh at.
Yeah, that's fair.
Very humorous.
Yeah. All right.
What about you?
So I'm just going to pick random ones. These aren't necessarily my favorite. These are just ones you kind of sprung upon me, which is fine. There is one called Jonathan Creek.
Okay.
So Jonathan Creek is a UK-based TV show with what's the gentleman's name? This would often be on a Saturday night. So I used to go to my granny's house, and it would be Alan Davis. Alan Davis is the actor who played him. And we would watch, so mum and dad would be having Saturday night by themselves, so we would go to my granny's house and stay over, and we would watch Casualty, which is a hospital program. We'd watch the National Lottery, which is like, they had a program to draw the lottery, basically.
Okay.
And we watched Jonathan Creek, as well as Blind Date and a few other sort of game shows, depending on what like circle of the season is. And Jonathan Creek was an hour-long show, as I said, by a guy called Alan Davis, who was a magician's. So there was, like, you know how you have TV magicians, and they don't necessarily always come up with the tricks.
Yeah.
So this guy was actually the guy who came up with all the tricks for the magicians. Okay. Or for a particular magician who was like a dick, and that's how it was played anyway. And there was a detective woman who solved crimes, but she wasn't necessarily very good at it. She always asked for him to come and help and to be a counsel for it, help her out. So it'd always be like, you'd have the typical, it's very Sherlock Holmes-ish. It'd start off with, you see a woman and she's doing this and that, and then suddenly she dies, and then it flashes, it'll do the intro, and all the cops are like, we don't know how she got out this room, or how did she get shot in this place, or how did this happen? And then he'd come in and he'd investigate the room and go, and never tell anyone his thoughts and all that sort of stuff. And he was eccentric, but not in a like a Bones or any of these weird type of, when they almost seem like autistic. He's not like that. He was just, he was a bit particular.
Yeah.
And it was really good. Alan Davis, I loved him as an actor, and the theme song for Jonathan Creek was like one of those ones I was like, oh yeah, Jonathan Creek song. And there wasn't that many episodes and seasons, but it was enough to keep it going for, probably about 6-7 seasons, if that. And I loved it. That was always my favorite Saturday night TV show, and it was good.
Cool.
Yeah. I think the concept of that was almost a bit ahead of its time. The fact that it's like a police officer having a consultant come in who specializes in something. Because I feel like that has played a lot more into modern, especially US TV shows recently. Like another one on my list is going to be someone who's very similar. I'm sure someone on your list is going to be very similar too.
Probably.
But it's a good concept.
Might have the same person on our list.
We don't. Like Bones was. I'm not going to talk about Bones, but Bones is a very similar thing.
Yeah.
Especially, and it's not really a detective. She just kind of helped say things about science. But so Jonathan Creek, guys, if you've never seen it, try and go into somewhere on the internet or BBC iPlayer if you're in the UK. Check it out. It's really good. It's funny, but not necessarily funny, and it's kind of got dark sides to it, but nothing dramatic. And even the parts when you see him solving the magic, it's quite good, because you've always wondered how these magics are done, and they kind of talk like, that's more like, it's not really involved, but they'll talk through that as they're doing something else. And
that's really cool too.
Yeah, it's a good show. You'd like it, actually. It's definitely of its time. It's like late 90s, early 2000s, but it's a good show.
I'll watch an episode.
Yeah, I'll try and find a link to it if you can get it. But I enjoyed it.
It sounds good.
I
like detective shows.
Yeah, very good. All right, what's next for you?
Number 2 would be Sean Spencer.
Oh, I wonder if this one's coming up.
So,
All right, so who's Sean Spencer?
Sean Spencer is a psychic detective on Psych, which is one of my favorite shows ever.
Psych.
Yes. So they work in Santa Barbara. Him and his best friend are, well, he's the psychic detective. His best friend's his like sidekick person. His name is Gus.
Ugh. So just to kind of, in fact, go ahead. I'll talk about this in a minute.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I don't say so. I've not watched Psych before. We've mentioned it on this podcast before. Kayla's a big fan, and when we were away in Colorado, she made me watch a couple of episodes, and by episode like half of episode 1, I was like, I hate the main character. I hate his sidekick even more. They're both idiots. And even by episode 3, I still hated Gus. Sean was fine. I still think he's I don't know why he's glorified so much in it, but maybe it gets better as you go through.
It does get better.
Yeah.
You just have to give it 8 seasons. That's
8
all.
Seasons. If I 8 seasons, that's how many episodes in a season? Like 20?
I don't remember.
At
There's a lot.
At least 13. So that's, and they're hour-long episodes. So it's 13 hours times 8. What's that? That's almost over 100 hours of time into Sean. Get to France. I've got so much better things I could be doing.
Okay.
Maybe you know what I'll probably do? I'm doing some stuff at the moment at craft work, and I'll probably put it on the background. That's what I tend to do. I used to paint miniatures because I'm a geek. I used to paint Warhammer, and I used to just put on shows in the pack. So I'd like a lot of shows I've watched, like Bones, just because we're talking about it, I've watched all of, but really I was listening to it while I paint. Yeah. So I could do that now with this new thing I'm doing.
Cool.
Go on.
Okay, so Sean was born into, well, his dad was a police officer. His dad was on the police force or whatever. And so because of that, his dad kind of like always talked to him about like being very aware of what's going on. And so like they would be sitting in a restaurant and he'd be like, how many people in here are wearing hats? And like Sean had to remember or whatever. So it made him really good at like detecting and being a detective, just being very observant. And so because of that, he, at 15 years old, he passed the detective exam with 100%.
When did they mention that? Because I've not seen that yet.
I don't know. I just know that it's a thing. I don't know what episode it was.
100%. So do they know what's in the detective exam? Because it's not just about detecting.
I don't know.
You don't remember what it said?
I don't remember.
Okay, I'm going to look up that.
Okay. So then what happened? So then like he continues to like call in the first season. He continues to call in tips to the police, and then eventually they think that it's him that's doing all these crimes because he has so much information and like knows. And so then he comes up with this story that he's a psychic detective, and that kind of just is like he's very just immature and not got his shit together. So that was just like his quick answer. And then it's kind of like, oh shit, I've got myself in this thing. Now I just have to go with it. And so he goes with it for all 8 seasons.
Why though? Like, why is this continuing with the charade?
Because if he ends up saying that he's not a psychic detective, that he could get in a lot of trouble and go to jail.
But why?
Because he said that he was, and so then that would be like interfering with police work or like lying to police or whatever. Even though he's
not any
like
more than I'm
them.
asking a psychic.
I know.
It seems as in like I realize it's for the plot. They have to have this.
Yeah.
And I'm just ragging on it because it's your favorite show.
I love it.
But it's the same as all of these. Why do they keep going to this person? But he could easily have said by end of episode 1, oh, I'm not psychic, by the way, but I can help you guys. I'll pay you a consultant. They'll still pay him the same. He doesn't need to do anything else. And he's clearly not the one doing the crimes now.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But it's really good. They get into a lot. This is another funny one. Like, it's very humorous. They have a lot of, like, different movie references and, like, just tons of different references in it. And so that's fun to watch. A lot of the references, a lot of the things they refer to, they end up having the characters from those shows or movies or whatever on like another episode. That's kind of cool.
Example?
Who is one of the girls in The Shining?
In The Shining?
Yeah.
Like the TV show, like the movie Shining?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember the girl's name. There's only one there's only one lady in The Shining.
Hold on, psych.
And I don't think she acts anymore.
Then it might not have been her.
Because it's the wee boy, and then you got Jack Nicholson, And I remember Kubrick, or the story is that Kubrick kind of berated this lady a lot. I can't remember her name.
It was one of the... So one of the episodes they have is a Shining type episode.
Oh, okay.
And they have...
Shelley Duvall. She's the only woman in it. You've got the two girls, Louise Barnes, who played the daughters, like the two wee kind of creepy girls. And that's about it, really. There's a couple other women, but they're probably all dead by now.
Probably.
In fact, Shelley Duvall could be dead. I don't even know.
I don't remember any of the examples. But yeah, they...
Oh, Shelley Duvall's from Houston, Texas.
Really?
Yeah, she's 69. So it's somewhat pop culture-ish in the fact that they reference things, which I always quite like. Like, I think that's one of the reasons Big Bang became so big, because they reference things. You know, and it does keep it relevant. We spoke about it last week, The Simpsons and Family Guy and stuff.
This is it. Molly Ringwald was on there. She's not from The Shining, but she's like Girl Interrupted, Breakfast Club, all of those.
Oh, okay.
And they reference a lot of 80s and 90s type.
Yeah, probably because it's probably out of copyright or something.
And so she was on one of the episodes.
Yeah. I'm sure they've got a whole bunch, as you said, a whole bunch of people. We could probably go through the cast on IMDb, but we won't, because that's not very entertaining. So what was his biggest crime? Does he have an arch nemesis to begin with?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about him.
So his arch nemesis becomes God, what was his name? Why did I just blank? Mr. Yang.
Mr. Yang.
Yes. So I don't remember which season it starts with, but basically there's Mr. Yang or whatever starts sending different things to the police department, and they're like trying to catch him. He's like a serial killer, and it goes on for multiple seasons to where like they catch this one person who ends up being... Well, I don't want to tell you.
Okay, you don't have to tell me, but so
you
he does end up getting an arch rival who, and I'm assuming at the end he ends up thwarting him somehow and capturing him. Don't have to tell me actually.
I don't want to tell you. But yes, there's an arch nemesis. It's fun.
And so how does he develop as a character? Tell me that. Does he become less silly or less sort of childish?
Over all
does
of
he
the
have a love
seasons.
interest?
Yes, he does.
Okay. Is it the woman detective?
Which one? My favorite character?
I don't know. The one that came in after like episode 3 and I was like, why did they change the lady? I like the first lady.
Yes.
Oh. It's boring. But I guess they have to.
It's somebody else first, then it becomes her. And actually, in real life, they were together. Yeah. So, also her name's Maggie Lawson. So, I'm pretty sure at some point, her and Drake are related. Yeah. Okay. Which is pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You're just giving away your surname. We've not done that before.
Oh, sorry.
We can cut it out. Cut it!
I said Drake, not me.
That's true. You may have not taken the name.
Exactly.
And does Gus die?
No.
Does his dad die?
No.
Does his dad stay in until the end? Is he still helping him all the way through?
His dad gets better at being not so angry, and ends up.
I feel like he has right to be angry though, because
no, he does.
Sean seems like an asshole.
So Sean was an asshole, but Sean gets kind of they kind of mend this relationship.
Yeah, and does Sean ever become ever divulge that he's not actually a psychic?
No.
Really? I mean, the cops believe it.
Yeah. Well, no, Lassie hardly ever believes it.
Who does? Nobody ever believes it.
Lassie, the tall guy.
Oh yeah, he's not believing from the beginning. But how stupid? Do you want to get the pics of cops as being a bit idiots?
They tend to question it. They put him to a lie detector at one point.
The whole sort of
that he gets better on that. It's very theatrical. I only saw
2.5 episodes. I guess
it's very theatrical in the beginning.
Okay.
But then they also have a Christmas movie, another movie, and they're coming out with another movie.
Oh, man. Was it that good?
It's like one of those big? Cult following things.
It's weird how it was that big.
Yeah, it was huge. Pineapples are a huge thing. There's a pineapple in, I don't know if every episode, but pineapples are I
remember seeing the pineapple one when he picked it up and he said, "Can we slice this up, please?" Yeah. But that's the only one I remember seeing.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It's just they're just weird. It's just weird shit that they do. They always talk about jerk chicken. Okay.
Fair enough. I guess it's running jokes. People tend to like programs of running things that makes you feel like you're committed and you're part of it because you get something that other people who have just watched don't.
Oh, I don't know if they did this in the first 2 episodes, but it gets to where like at least over 70% of the season, he comes up with fake names for Gus. And then they're hilarious. Like he'll be like, "Hi, my name's Sean Spencer. This is my partner," and he'll like introduce him with a different type of name.
I don't remember that he probably did. I just wasn't paying attention.
Gus nicknames. They're hilarious. Like super Peter Panic, Gus Silly Pants Jackson, Magic Head Chocolate Columbo.
I feel like you did introduce him. I'll call him something at least. Yeah.
Gus TT Showbiz.
Okay.
So just like random things that he'll come up with.
Yeah.
And then like, I don't know, he just has like funny sayings.
So how would you rate him as a detective then?
On a scale of 1 to 10?
Mm-hmm.
And Inspector Gadget was a 1.
Yeah.
I would say he's like 7.
Okay, that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
That's really solid considering actually. Just very quickly before I move on to my next one, the detective exam in the US consists of 3 critical areas: criminal investigations, interviewing techniques, and relevant case law. 2 of which I don't think at 15 he would have had any ability or knowledge of. Probably quite good at criminal investigations, but maybe not the law.
Maybe he just passed that one part.
I'm sure on TV he passed it. You know, it's just I was just curious. I didn't know it involved those 3 things.
I'm still reading these
and you
nicknames, and they're hilarious. Chocolate Einstein.
I feel like Chocolate Einstein might have been actually the one that we had in one of the first episodes.
Season 5.
Oh, he said something about Einstein in the first one, though. I'm sure. I can't remember. Anyway. All right. So, my second one is almost identical to yours, but slightly different. Can you guess who it is? All right. So, can you guess?
Monk?
No. I'm aware of Monk. I don't know anything about Monk. It's almost the exact same as yours, but not as comical.
Is he psychic?
Potentially.
Huh. Have I seen this?
I don't know.
This is that show that you keep telling me about.
I don't know if it's a show I keep telling you about, but it was a pretty big show. It ran, heaps of seasons, I'm sure. Let me check, maybe 7 seasons. From 2008, I think, until maybe 3 years ago, 2015, something like that.
It's not that True Blood, not True Blood.
That vampire movie.
No, I don't know.
Okay, so the main character is called Patrick Jane,
Okay.
and it is acted by someone called Bruno Heller. Any familiar?
No.
He was also in Devil's Wear Prada, I think. He was like the love interest that ended up being a dick. Anyway.
Okay.
And it's called The Mentalist.
Okay.
You heard of The Mentalist? So
Yes, I have. I've seen
it's
like
a
2
CBS
episodes.
show, and he's the main protagonist in it.
Okay.
And he essentially, so he doesn't have detecting skills, but he's very good at reading people and reading situations as well as sort of detective skills.
Okay.
And he's an independent consultant for they call it the CBI, which is basically, it's meant to be like California FBI, but I don't know if it's a real thing or not, but they say it is.
Okay.
And he uses his insight of being a fake psychic to help them solve crimes. And he uses skills like observation, deduction, like knowledge of like social engineering, how that sort of people work around the side, and the fact that he's a genius. Yeah. So he grew up as like a carnival kid, and he used this sort of his tricks to sort of, I don't know, it was like an act, basically. And he grew up, and then he became a big television kind of mentalist, you know, like that John Edwards guy and all the other ones. That's like, oh, I'm sensing. A mic, is there a mic? And say, yes, my husband. You know, that bullshit. I fucking hate those people. Those people need to die. Like, literally need to die. It's causing so much pain. Well, maybe not causing pain. Maybe they're helping somebody, but stop faking it. Anyway. Yeah. So he did that, and he was all about that for a while. And then I can't remember if, I think he got into the helping police a little bit, or someone was asking him about a serial killer. Mm-hmm. And then he called him out on like a chat show saying, oh, he's just probably some sort of sociopath or some, you know, guy who's, you know, can't get a woman or something. You can't remember exactly. And then he went home and found his his kid and his wife had been killed.
Yeah. Damn.
So that was what sort of set him off on this weird sort of kind of mental health journey where he's sort of gone up and down. And this guy obviously became his nemesis. So I can't remember how early on they introduced it, but it was relatively early. And this guy called Red John, because he'd killed somebody and he'd leave a wee smiley face and red blood on at the crime scene, essentially.
That's creepy.
Yeah, so that's what he was doing. He was working through that. He worked with a lady called Teresa Lisbon, and she was like the main link between him and the FBI, and then a couple of other characters that came and went. They're all really cool guys. One called Cho, who was like the straight edge cop, which was a bit like in a kind of cool way rather than like this sort of dorky way. And there was another dorky tall guy and a girl who was like a tech woman. And it's all very interesting. I thought it was a really good series. It wasn't comical, but had funny moments. It was interesting to see how he detected things. It wasn't there's a mud stain here, this and that. It was she's clearly lying because of this, and very, like I said, similar to Psych, but more about the human rather than looking at the situation. And his journey through it himself, back to Jane, along with his relationship with Teresa and his kind of figuring out of his family stuff and the Red John stuff was really interesting. And people never looked at him seriously because he was, dressed in a very suave way, but drove around this weird old car and all these things. But it was good. Yeah. It was one of the only shows I watched to the very end and was happy with the ending and liked it. There was one or two seasons where some people left, and you're like, oh, it kind of ruins it a little bit, but you understand it because it's 7 seasons long.
Yeah. Does he ever say that he's not psychic?
He always says he's not psychic. He never claims to be psychic.
Okay.
And there's episodes when he goes in and debunks or does his best to debunk other people who claim to be psychic, because he's very much against that, tricking people, fooling people that he's a psychic. Yeah. He will occasionally do it to convince a criminal of something, but he never tells the cops that he's psychic. He's very clear that he's just good observation, basically. And it's like this running jokes about him, like he sleeps on the couch in the FBI or the CBI office and all these sort of weird things going on. But it's really interesting. The kind of build of change of him and his mentality, the change of him with, or the way he tries to find his arch nemesis is quite interesting, and there's a good wee arc and twist and turn to that as well. And it's one of those great sort of episodical this and this that happens. So episodes happen, something happens, it's concluded, but there's also that running plot, which is and a lot of these things which works really well. And as I said, 7 seasons, never had a move on that, and finishes in a way you're happy with.
Cool. Yeah,
it's good. So as I said, more serious version of Psych.
That's another one I want to watch.
It is a good one, and as I said, it's one of the only full season things I've ever finished. Yeah. And I would wait to see the new season. I'd be like, oh, new season's coming out. Yeah. Which I don't do for many things, really. But anyway, yeah, I like that. Lots of people don't watch it, but I like this one.
Yeah, I'll watch an episode.
All right, what's next? What's yours?
I have like 4, and I can't choose. So I'm just going to do this one, and then when we talk about other additional ones, I'll add the other ones in.
Because so far we've only talked about TV guys. Is it still another TV person?
Yes.
Okay, that works, because that's for a lot. We see them a lot.
Yeah, I have 3 more TV people, 4 more TV people.
Okay, well, tell me the 3 or 2 that wasn't good. It was going to be, but not, and then we'll go to the final one then.
Okay, so these are just 3 really 4.
Okay.
4 really good ones that, like, they're just not at the top of the line, but they're really good. So Monk was a good one. He I think that he just works with the police. I can't remember. But he was one where it's like OCD, like just very like heightened awareness type thing. Lots of phobias.
Monk. Okay.
Those types of things. So he was like hard for the police to work with, but he was a really good detective. So that was one.
I think Monk was a private inspector. Yeah, so you're right. He wasn't.
Okay, yeah.
I can't remember if I ever saw Monk.
It's just decent. It's not the best, but it's good.
That's an 80s program, right? Or early 90s?
I think it's early 90s.
Okay.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Next one is Lie to Me. The guy's name is Tim
Roth.
Cal Whiteman, Dr. Cal Whiteman. Have you ever seen Lie to Me?
I've seen all of it, yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. And they cut it short after 2 seasons, I think.
I don't remember,
Maybe
but
3?
I was not happy when they
I was like, why are you cutting this?
3 seasons.
Tim Roth is a great actor. He was very, well, go, you talk about it.
Yeah, just like, he was all about micro expressions. So like
Yeah.
little bitty things that he'd see during these people's interviews, and he would know if they did it or not.
Because he had his own business, right? It was like people would have to come to him, and it wouldn't always be the police; it would be other people. Mm-hmm. And he was very much almost sick of life, wasn't he? He wasn't very joyful, and he was always like, I don't know, complaining about this and that. And yeah, that was. I loved that. Tim Roth, if you ever listened to this, you're the man. Yeah, that was a good season, good series.
Yeah, short one, but good for sure.
I don't know why people just didn't watch that. Why are you watching The Mentalist over it? It was a bit more gritty, I guess, but yeah, it was good. I can't remember any of the episodes, but I do know it was good.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Another one was Grimm. Have you seen that? I
haven't. I've seen the if you know what I mean, but I've not seen an episode at all.
So it's pretty good too. It didn't make the top one because it's like they're all fictional, like the fantasy type thing. Like he's a detective and he's a good detective, but he's also a Grimm, which is like somebody who can see basically the creatures from the Grimm fairy tales. Yeah. Which is really cool. It's just like fantasy. Yeah. So okay. But I really liked that one too. I watched it I think they're on season 6 now, and I watched it for like 3 seasons. It's pretty good. The other one that didn't make the cut was Hannibal. Have you seen that show?
Like the precursor to the Hannibal movies?
I don't know. This show came out in like 2013.
Yeah, so this is the precursor to like Silence of the Lambs and all that sort of stuff, and it follows an inspector, but also Hannibal Lecter as well at the same time. Yeah. And I haven't seen it.
Will Graham's the criminal profiler or whatever, and he like hunts down serial killers. But then like him and Hannibal like develop this relationship because Hannibal's his, I guess, like psychiatrist or whatever. And I don't know. It's messed up, but it's good. Speaking of messed up, we'll go to my number 1.
Oh, okay. I think I know what your number 1's going to be.
Is my number 1 what your number 1 would be?
No.
Okay. So my number 1 is Dexter.
Yeah, I was about to say, I bet it's Dexter. Yeah.
I love Dexter. Yeah. Yes. Dexter is a serial killer. Yes. But also a detective. But he only kills...
Well, he's not a detective, is he?
No, well, he's like the criminal... He's the blood spatter analysis guy. But he works with the detectives. He does
more detecting than most of the detectives do. And his sister's pretty awesome. I love his sister.
Yeah, his sister's
She's
the
my favourite character by far.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he knows from a young age that he's a serial killer, different. He likes to kill people. So his dad kind of gives him some advice, and he takes it the wrong way. Yeah. And starts killing criminals.
Well, no, his dad doesn't take it necessarily the wrong way.
Yeah, you're right. I think he just takes it a lot farther than what his dad meant.
Well, his dad gives him the rules to stick by, because his dad knows he's going to have to kill to survive. Yeah. And he gives him the rules of who and why to kill.
But then I think when he chops them up into little pieces, then his dad sees that it's like... I think the idea of it, his dad was okay with, but when it actually came to like fruition, his dad was like, I'm not okay with this.
Yeah, I guess so. What happened to his dad? His dad died, but how did his dad die? I can't remember.
Well, I think like it's from a heart attack or like some type of like something like that. But I think it's the nurse that was poisoning him. No?
I can't remember.
I think so.
Yeah, they do suggest that, don't they? It's been a while since I've seen it, because this came out 2004 or something.
I don't know. Ages ago. It was so good.
Yeah, so it started off really well. The concept was really... Well, you talk about it. This is your one. Sorry.
No, you've seen it too, so...
You go. Tell me.
I don't know. So Drake and I watched this one a while after it had come out. We didn't start watching it until... I started watching it in 2013.
So 2006 is when it came out.
Yeah. I started watching it when it ended.
Okay.
And it was like we had a snow day in Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like watching random things. Actually, one of my best friends had told me to watch it. So I started watching it and watched like the first 3 episodes. And then Drake like watched the 4th one with me and he was like, we've got to restart. And so we restarted it and like binged watched the entire series.
Yeah.
And there's like, 8 seasons? So it's a long time, but
Yeah.
it was so good. And it's good because like each season is based off of, like it has its own independent storyline, but
There's like 3 different storylines. There's like the overarching one.
yeah.
There's a season-long one, and then there's like
The episode one.
So
Yeah.
it had a lot intertwining there.
Yeah. It was so good.
Yeah, I I enjoyed it a lot. I pulled out about season 5 once Deborah found out that he was. Sorry, guys, spoilers. Once Deborah found out he was a killer, that's when I pulled out, and I was like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
done.
Because she
You know,
just
it was-
like didn't like him
I think
anymore.
there was 2
and
more seasons of it, and it run its course, definitely.
Yeah. And I did not like how this one ended.
No, I didn't.
Terrible,
I didn't watch
terrible
it, but,
ending.
Yeah, I don't get many people did.
No.
I think. But it's, how do you end something so long after so
Any
few
way
people-
other than that.
so few people like any ending of anything.
You
know?
could kill him and it would be better than the ending that
I think they should have
happened.
killed him. I don't know why they didn't kill him. Like, it seems like you can't allow him to survive. He has to die.
Yeah.
You know, if his kid can go somewhere else, he has to die. That would have been the best ending. Nobody who's killed that many people, even if they are bad people, should be allowed to live.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And he's killed some people who shouldn't have died either. Yeah, no, Dexter was great, guys. If you ever want to watch it, definitely do watch it. I'd maybe pull out before the end and just like hopes and dreams it stays. It's good.
Yeah.
I do this for a lot of things. I pull out before the last couple of episodes so it doesn't end.
It doesn't
I can just-
ruin it.
I can just
Yeah.
match it. Like I did it with Breaking Bad, did it with Sopranos, did it with
Okay.
a whole bunch of them. Maybe it's me not wanting closure, but anyway. Yeah, no, Dexter's a great one. Great choice. I really like the stylized intro to it.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good. And his wee house. Did he
His,
keep
like,
the same
routine.
house? Just keep it. Oh, and he gets a bigger house when he marries, and then
He,
I
like,
think
just starts
I think he
living
moves
with
back
her,
into
yeah.
it again, doesn't he? Again, though?
Yeah.
But that was a great series.
What's your last one?
There are so freaking many. Like,
I
I'm
know.
going through a whole list of detectives, and
All right, so give me your which ones didn't win and then your top one.
well, I don't know if I have many that didn't win. I think I know what I'm going to use. But first of all, Sherlock Holmes, there's so many iterations of Sherlock Holmes. We're not going to choose Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
I like almost every iteration of Sherlock Holmes. I like the Robert Downey Jr. version. I like the Benedict Cumberbatch version. I really like the Jim Miller, and Lucy Liu. Lucy Liu.
okay, yeah.
Oh my god. So yeah, Jim Miller and him and Lucy Liu and you know what? I've told you about it before. Elementary, it's called. It's American version of it, but he's still British, and it is my favorite version of Sherlock Holmes, hands down. They do a whole bunch of stuff. It's really interesting. They bring in like the typical arch nemesis and stuff, and it's really good. It's one of my best. But again, to Benedict Cumberbatch, Sherlock Holmes is just a great character. Arthur Conan Doyle does so well, and people have adapted it so many different ways. So, guys, if you've never watched anything Sherlock Holmes, go watch any of them. They're all really good.
Really good.
There are a lot of them based the whole thing off Arthur Conan Doyle's original stuff, but go watch them, and they're really interesting. And I'm going through all this list that we have, and there's so many I've heard of that I don't really know much about, but Nancy Drew from the high school ones.
Yeah.
What else have we got here? We've got Luther. I love Luther. Luther was a UK one. Have you watched it yet? No, Netflix. So it's Luther. It's a British guy. It's Idris Elba, and it's more of a drama than it is any special abilities and stuff. It's just him being a detective in real life London. Miss Marple, as we mentioned, Veronica Mars, which has got a big cult following. You've got, as you said, you've got your monk. You've got Poirot that we mentioned at the start of the podcast. You've got Detective Frost, which is another UK one. You've got Columbo. Lots of people know Columbo. But yeah, anyway, so I'm mumbling through as I'm just looking at them. Inspector Morse, which is another really big one in the UK. Inspector Rebus. Oh, so Rebus was a really good one. That's the one by a Scottish writer called Ian Rankin. Again, it's another British one. British, we love to do our sort of cop dramas and inspector dramas. Anyway, no, so I want to say this, and I don't know if this is going to count, but Batman. Batman is known as, well, first of all, his first comic was Detective Comics, and he is known as the world's greatest detective. So I think it'd be hard pushed not to put Batman as my detective. I don't know if you're going to allow that or not. What do you say?
I'm going to say yes, because when I just searched Batman, and this could be because of what we've been searching, but detective characters came up, and it says Batman, Sherlock Holmes, and then that Poirot person.
Yeah.
And then it just continues to just go with detectives. So sure.
So, like, I could say, as I said, Bones, Temperance, Brennan, like, or we could go on about Quincy or a whole bunch of other ones. But I think if you go into someone who I think's a solid detective, at least that was actually a good choice. I only thought of that on the fly, actually. I didn't read it. Batman has to win. And the only issue is Batman in the movies doesn't detect.
No.
Batman in movies kills and, like, wings his way through it. So that's the only bad thing about the modern version of Batman. I'd love to see Batman do a bit more detecting. But a lot of the old comic books and a lot of the old TV shows, he does a lot more detecting, especially the Warner Brothers one. The Warner Brothers TV show, which is probably everyone's favourite iteration of Batman. He's just a really good detective. And it's not just gadgets and his super training and all this sort of stuff that makes him a good detective. He actually determines things that would be otherwise really hard to detect. Yeah. Now, he obviously doesn't solve normal crimes. It's not a sequential thing like Dexter or Mentalist or Psych, but he's essentially working at that tier above this everyday crime stuff, you know, when it comes to world saving.
And it even says in here that, like, they drew inspiration from Sherlock Holmes for Batman. Yeah.
Well, it's as in he works alone. He's a vigilante, but he also, like, someone who, given enough time, believe that by the law that given enough time he can beat anyone, including Superman. You know, including all these other stronger guys. Yeah. If he's given enough time to prepare and detect his way around things, he can beat anyone. And I think that bit. And how can you not like someone like that who's also still just a regular guy in a sense?
Yeah.
You know, it makes it kind of interesting. And who doesn't like Batman? Batman's fun.
Batman is fun.
What was my favourite version of Batman? I don't know. If I had live action, who's your favourite film? You know what? I really did like... What's his face? What's Ben Affleck's version of Batman? I liked the look of it. I liked the sort of... But he didn't have his own thing, and he was a little bit too... my life is awful. I wasn't a fan of Christian Bale's Batman. I liked the movies. I didn't like Christian Bale as Batman. He was just... didn't trust me. Him as a character. Obviously, George Clooney was crap. Val Kilmer was alright. And before that, who do we have?
I think I liked Adam West.
1960s Batman.
Yeah.
Everyone liked Adam West Batman to some degree.
Michael Keaton.
Keaton, that's the one I was thinking of. He was the first live action one.
Yeah.
Live action movie one.
Yeah.
In the Tim Burton movies. I like that as well. He was good. But yeah, I know there's got this new Batman coming out, The Batman, in a couple of years' time, and apparently doing a younger version of him. There's a website that's got like betting odds for who's going to be the next Batman.
Who do you think it'll be?
I think it's going to be a person who's not that famous.
Really?
Yeah. Like there's people are saying things like, oh, it's going to be like Colin Farrell, or it's going to be Robert Pattinson. I'd hate to be Robert Pattinson.
Ooh, that would be terrible.
He's like,
no.
So Batman's meant to be this like 6'4" absolute tank, you know? And none of these guys fit. There's a whole list of them I could get out, but I'm not sure how to find it. None of them have this tank. So like they have to be a big guy. They have to have that presence. I know you can CGI it and they can train hard, but like I'm a big guy and I don't think I'm big enough to be Batman. You know how none of these actors are.
He's gonna be Batman.
I'm gonna be Batman. I'm Batman. Yeah. So like the Henry Cavill who's Superman, he's big and that's the type of guy you need someone that size.
Yeah.
And he obviously can't be. He's in the running to be Batman. I was like, how can you be Batman? You're Superman. That's stupid.
Batman not going to be Batman?
Well, Ben Affleck's just pulled out, so he's just not into it anymore. And I think the new version, they want it to be a slightly younger Batman, so they can kind of go through it. I think Jake Gyllenhaal would be good. I know he's currently Mysterio. Yeah, Mysterio in the new Spider-Man, but I'm sure he can go. But he's maybe a bit too fresh-faced. Maybe he needs to be a little bit rougher to be Batman.
Yeah.
Unless he's been the young one. He'd probably be a good, like, Nightwing. Or, like, a Robin version character. And, like, they were saying, like, Nick Jonas. Like, no, you can't have Nick Jonas.
Ew.
How the fuck
Why?
can you have
Why
that?
are they using these people?
Like, you need someone... Like, a lot of people wanted... who's the guy from Mad Men? The main character in Mad Men.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. He's basically... I can't remember his name. Fudge. That's really annoying me. But... And he'd be good for an older Batman, but I think if they want to go young, they need to go looking, because I don't think anyone fits the bill at the moment. Not like that, of my knowledge. But yeah, so I would say Batman's the best. How can you talk about fictional detectives not talking about Batman?
That's very true. I didn't even think of Batman as an option.
Yeah, I figured out from the beginning. I was like, I'm going to throw Batman in the run.
I think he's a good
Can you
one.
think of any other detectives?
No.
Anybody else that solves crimes? So to be honest, we only mentioned...
TV shows.
We didn't mention anyone who was actually a police officer.
No.
That's interesting. Now, why do you think that is? Well, I suppose we mentioned like Luther and Inspector Morse and Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
Do you think it's not as exciting, it's not as fun
Yes.
and interesting?
Yeah, they're the ones, they have to follow the rules. If you're the outside person they bring in, like, you have a little bit more ability to bend the rules.
Yeah,
Kind of go, like, outside of the box type thing.
that's true. So who would you say was your favourite police officer detective? I think mine might be Luther. But I mean, because I like Idris Elba.
I really liked the lead guy in NCIS.
I never watched any NCIS.
That was really good.
Yeah, NCIS was a naval inspection, criminal sign, whatever, rather
Yeah.
than just the CIS, NCIS, CIS. What was it?
CSI.
CSI. Thank you. Crime scene investigation.
Yes.
I didn't watch any of them. That was not my jam.
I watched them a lot.
You ever think you could ever be a detective? Do you have observation skills to
No.
be a good detective?
I wish I did. I try to be very observant, but I'm not.
So I have a bunch of friends who are police officers. Fuck me. I don't know how any of them could become, like, they're not dumb, but, like, they're just not,
Observant?
yeah, like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying some of them probably are good police officers, and I just don't know it, but you wouldn't look at them or know them like the way I know them and think you'd make a good police officer. And especially as how the media depicts detecting.
Yeah. I think that's a big part of it,
None
too.
of them would be, but I know that's not how it actually works, and it's a lot easier or different. But
Oh, we forgot another one.
who?
Jessica Jones.
Yes, she's a PI.
I love her.
Yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't on my list actually. I thought I would have seen it on my
I
list.
know.
How good is she? She's not very good.
She is very good.
No, she's not. She's just a brute, so she just beats her way into things.
Yes, that's true.
Like how good is she in? Well, she's also like nowadays it's all computers. Oh, I'm good at social media. I'll find you through this. I guess she's half decent at that.
She is. I like her a lot.
I suppose we weren't really thinking superheroes until Batman, and then Jessica Jones works. Mm-hmm. Trying to think of any more. No doubt there'll be another one coming out in some TV show soon.
Oh, for sure.
Unless that trope's over, maybe they want to change from that. Because I've not had any new ones recently.
Not that I can think
It's
of. I don't know. I haven't really
detective
watched.
program. It's not, is it?
Yeah, but like a weird detective program.
I just know people like that.
I loved Fringe.
All right, I think that'll do it. Unless you got any more detectives.
No, I'm just saying if Fringe would count as a detective. Yeah, they were FBI, private investigator.
That's fair then.
Yeah, they were pretty good. That was also another cult following.
I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other ones we're not thinking of at the moment.
Yeah, we for sure missed them.
But the
it's
ones
fun.
that we've seen and we enjoy.
Yeah.
As I said, Sherlock Holmes probably takes the cake for me, followed closely by the three I gave.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, shits and hits real quick. Shits and hits real quick. You got anything?
We watched that movie.
We did watch that movie. What's
I
that
fell
movie?
asleep in that movie.
What? Oh, so we watched Bandersnatch.
Yes.
So we watched the Netflix show Bandersnatch, the one that you have to kind of choose your own adventure.
It was scary.
That was crap.
It was scary. I fell asleep.
You fell asleep. I fell asleep. Well, we got through at one point, and I was like, okay, that was uneventful. Let's do it again to actually get a better ending. And then I watched that, and I was like, okay, we kind of ended up the same thing again. It took us so long to get to the end, and then it was crap. And I was like, what a waste of time.
Yeah.
And you can't. It's really hard to jump to the right point. You have to watch the same thing again. I was like, I don't want to watch the same thing again. Just show me the different ending. So It's not going to take off.
No.
Unless they can get a better way to transverse around the options.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Like, I find it very interesting. If I really think there should be a movie out there that comes out and doesn't tell you the ending, and different cinemas has different endings. That would be so interesting. And like half the cinemas have one ending, half have another ending.
That'd be very interesting.
You don't know what you're going to get. That'd be so interesting. But and they've done it slightly in this, but no, it's guys, don't watch it. Don't waste your time if you ask me. Or go on YouTube and watch one of the ones that just takes it straight through and ignore all the button pressing.
Yeah. The other movie we watched was really, really good.
Yeah. So we might even do a full episode on this character at some point. But we watched Into the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which came out last year, and many people claim to be like the best superhero movie of the last like 5 years. It is really good.
It was very, very good.
Sony have done themselves justice finally with a Spider-Man movie. It was a really great introduction to Miles Morales, if you're not familiar with him as the Spider-Man, and a great sort of combination of the millions of, they only used 5 or so in this one, but variations of Spider-Man or Spider-Woman.
I also liked how it was animated, but it wasn't like, it didn't make me feel like I was watching a cartoon.
Yeah. The animation was this is the only thing I've ever seen animated like that, and it was remarkable. Yeah. It was a real good balance between comic book, modern day stylings, and then just everything in between. Yeah,
it was very, very good.
Yeah, I mean, that should have won an Oscar. I honestly, I feel like as a animated movie, that should have won an Oscar because it beats anything else. Yeah. May have not made this much money, but it's definitely good.
It was really, really
If you haven't watched it, guys, go watch it. I don't know if it's out yet. I don't know how we watched it, but rent it, buy it, stream it, whatever you can. Watch it. It's real good. I have some music, but I'll talk about it next week because we're just about pushing an hour.
Okay.
And I'm done.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Well, next week we'll be back with something else. Hit us up as usual on Instagram or Twitter at the Mumblecast. Check out our website if you really want, themumblecast.com. You can hit me up, Neville's Mail on Instagram, and Kayla at
Kayla0134.
Figure it out if you can't. It's all good. All right. In that case, I've been Liam.
I'm Kayla.
And this has been Mumblecast.
Bye.